You're seeing an emulated interface of a Fujitsu network scanning device with a button called Folder Browse powered by NSI AutoStore. The Folder Browse form allows you at the panel of the device to go into a form field and navigate a folder structure, such as what I'm showing you here on the right hand side on my server. As I navigate through this folder structure, both on the Fujitsu device and on my server here, you'll see it is browsing my folder structure, showing both the subfolders and the ability to go back to the parent folder as well. This capability is not built into the Fujitsu component. It has to be done through scripting. So the remainder of this video is to show you how to do that. Here's my AutoStore configuration with just my Fujitsu capture component and my multi-route, which I'll use to send to folder. If I double click on my Fujitsu one, I already have a form here called Folder Browse. And if I go to the applicable fields, you'll see here that I have a folder already created with a list drop-down. Some other capture components, you'll see that there is an actual folder field or folder browse field type. NSI will eventually get around to creating a folder browse field type. In the meantime, we have to do it through code. So I'm going to create a field here. As I change the field options, I do automatically want it to change and fire a lookup so I can repopulate this drop-down list based upon the subdirectories as I'm navigating through the folder structure. Let's go ahead and create a new script file from scratch here. Or I'm going to copy and paste a template here of a previous Fujitsu capture component script that I have. And I have 3 form level events: an initialize event, an onload, and an on-submit event, and then a field on change and a field on search event. So the first thing I want to do is populate some dummy values in our drop-down box for our folder browse. So let's do that in our onload event. To get a handle to the actual field, there's an iField field type. I'm going to call this field dir name. I get a handle on the batch that gets passed in. There's an array of fields. This is a zero-based array, so I'm going to get the first field. So that's going to be my field. And this is a generic field type. It hasn't been identified specifically as a list box field or a search field or so forth. So in order to do that, we have to call a list info object or field type, and we're going to call that field we just created field dir name, and we're going to get additional information about this field. Alright, so now I have access to my list object now. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and clear any items in this list. That's just a general best practice. So item list.clear. And now let's go ahead and add some dummy field, some dummy data to this. So item list.add. And then let's add a new list item. And I believe it's a this is the key and this is the value. Now this is C#, so it's not VB.NET. Make sure you close with those semicolons. So let's do this. B, C, and so forth. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and save this, compile it, make sure there's no errors, and go through, hit save, restart. Alright, now let's go ahead and open up the simulator that I have, folder browse. I put in dummy data in my list box A, B, C. Great. Now let's go ahead and populate this based upon values in the directory. So let's go back to our Fujitsu component. Fields. Whoops, let's go back to the script. Alright, so we're going to use some out-of-the-box Microsoft.NET libraries in the system.io. And let's go at the top. Let's create your root folder that you want to start browsing from. So let's create a constant in here. So constant string root folder. And I'm just going to make it my C drive you could start probably any location you want, and this could be a network share. Just make sure that the AutoStore service account that's running AutoStore would have access to that network share. Let me go ahead and make this bigger. All right, let's use the built-in Microsoft I/O functions to get the list of directories. And there's lots of ways to do that, but the best one is that I know of is to use the directory info libraries. So let's pass in here the root constant I just created, and to get all the subdirectories in the DI now, we call di.get directories. Great. Now let's iterate through those directories for each directory info subdir in subdirs. And we'll just copy and paste that there. So we should have the subdir dot name.toString. And let's copy that. All right, we should be good now. Save, compile. Now, shortcut, instead of me closing, is I'm just going to go and open up the AutoStore Service Manager, and I can stop it and restart it from here. All right, now let's go to test now. Folder browse, and it should be populated now. There we go. Now, instead of this as written, I wanted to so now that we have this list, as I click on it, I want it to update and run that query again. So that's going to happen in an onChange event. Instead of rewriting this down here, I'm going to extrapolate this out and create a function to query this directory list over and over again. So let's go ahead and do that now. So I'll write it down here. All right, now I'm going to pass in my AutoStore batch and the directory structure that I want to query. So I'm just going to move this down here. Make sure there's no compilation errors. All right, that's good. And so on change, I want to call that structure again. Update directory, which is down here. I'm going to pass in the batch, which I've got passed in by value there, and I want to update my new value that the user selected. But what the user's selecting here is I want it to be the full path, not just the folder name. So if I go back down here, this list item is a key value listing. So this is the value it's going to be, and here is going to actually be the underlying full directory name. So in this case, this might be A, B, C, D, whatever. This might be C:/A, C:/B, and so forth. And so what I want to do is I want to keep on appending the parent directory to this directory here as it goes through the process. All right, so now we're getting a little bit closer now. Let's go ahead and stop this and restart it. Well, before I restart it here, I just forgot to do one thing. I'm calling update directory now on change. I need to do it on load. So update directory, and I'm going to be passing in the batch and then the constant I created up here, my root folder. All right, whoops. Now let's start it up and give it a test. Alright, so folder browse. As I navigate through here, I can see my primary list of folders. I'm going to select one folder. That's correct. And I see my subfolders. If I select them, I should still continue to navigate through. And it looks like I'm having an error here. I need to append a slash between my last root parent folder and the subfolders as I'm navigating through. Okay, so I can go ahead and fix that. One thing I'll also notice through here is that on first load it's not putting in the path. So I need to go ahead and change that as well. Let's go back into our script code. Alright, on load, let's do this just to put the default path in there. So batch dot fields, my first field, value equals my root folder. Okay, so that should take care of the first issue I saw. And then what I need to do is I need to put in that slash as it's updating itself. And so I only want to do that if it's not the root folder. So let me go up here. So if the directory does not equal my root folder, let's go ahead and put a slash in my directory paths. Actually, let's just do it all the time. So I'm always going to put a slash at the end, and that should take care of that. All right, good. So let's go ahead and stop it and restart it. All right, let's try it again now. So folder browse, I should now see my root, which is great. AutoStore files, good. I have that slash afterwards, which is good now. So as I navigate through here, it should continue appending to it. Great. Good. So I'm browsing. Perfect. Now, what if I want to go back? I made a mistake. I want to add a dot dot because to go back, if I wanted to start all over again, I would have to exit all the way out of here to start over. So let me add the dot 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 now to this workflow. So I want to add a dot 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 as the first element after I clear it if my directory does not equal my root folder, which is good. So let me go ahead and do that right now. All right, so let me grab that, good, and I'm going to put in a dot dot. All right, now what do I put in as the value now? I want to get the root folder, or I mean the parent folder of my current folder. And I've already written a shortcut to do this, so I'm just going to go ahead and copy and paste that shortcut in here. All right, so I'm going to get the parent directory, and then I'm going to get the name of the parent directory, and then I'm going to create a temporary folder, and then this is going to get me the full path to the parent that I'm in, which is perfect. Now the only problem is, I know from experience here and from testing it out that if this is now the root path, it's going to act weird. There's one more thing I need to do. I just need to add a slash if it's not the root itself. It's a little complicated, but through your own trial and error testing, you'll understand why I'm doing this. Okay, so now I should be good by adding the dot dot dot. So let's save it, compile it, make sure we have no errors. We do have an error. Oh, it's the root folder. Here we go. Good. So let's save it and restart. All right, let's test it out. Folder browse. I've got my default start. Great. As I navigate down, I should have a dot dot dot. I do. Well, let's just keep on going. Let's see what happens. That's good. That's good. All right, let me navigate back up. So I'm going backwards now. I'm hitting the dot dots to navigate backwards. Good. AutoStore files. And I should no longer see the dot dots. Good. And back to the root. Excellent. So that's how you do a folder browse with a Fujitsu scripting component. Now there are lots of helpful tips if you click on the help menu. And if you have any questions, please post them on the forums at forums.notablesolutions.com. And the reason I put this video together is specifically to address this question. Browse to folder to help out this person here. Thank you.